For Mark Zuckerberg's testimony, let's bring in the anchor of Special Report, Bret Baier. This hearing was really going to take up a lot of the time and attention of the week. I want to get to the other issues, but before I do that, let me just ask you what the feeling is like down there in terms of Mark Zuckerberg testifying for the first time in front of Congress.
You know, Dana, I covered a lot of hearings, a lot of these hearings on Capitol Hill. There hasn't been this kind of line to get into a hearing for quite some time. I'm talking big hearings that were much anticipated. This seems to be generating a lot of attention and a lot of focus of not only lawmakers but the people who cover Capitol Hill. I think the real takeaway, and you talked about this with Congressman Walden, is what does regulation of social media, of Facebook and others, look like? And if that's the case, if that's the road that Congress is going down, you know, we're opening up a whole new door here about regulation of the internet. And I think that there's going to be a lot of back and forth about what the end product looks like if that's what happens.
And if we know anything, it's that Washington moves a lot more slowly than technology, for sure. We're taking a look at that line that you mentioned of people trying to get in for this hearing. But, of course, you can watch it live here on Fox News as soon as it starts. Meantime, Chuck Grassley, not only the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, who is talking about Facebook, but he also spoke with Maria Bartiromo this morning about the other big news, and that is in regards to the investigation of Robert Mueller, the raid yesterday of the president's attorney, Michael Cohen. Listen to what he said to Maria this morning.
I have confidence in Mueller. The president ought to have confidence in Mueller. And I think, to answer your question, it would be suicide for the president to want to talk about firing Mueller. The less the president said on this whole thing, the better off he would be, the stronger his presidency would be. And I think that maybe Mueller coming to a dead end as far as collusion of Trump with Russia in this election.
Brett, a lot of people do try to reach President Trump through their appearances on television. What do you think that President Trump hears when he hears that all these people think he should not fire Mueller, but it is within his power to do so?
Right. I think there are a lot of lawmakers, a lot of senators warning about that. There are some saying they're not concerned that he's going to go down that road because he knows the consequences of that. Here's the thing. We don't know what we don't know about the Mueller investigation. It's being reported that the Cohen raid, the raid on Michael Cohen's office and apartment, hotel, was in regard to the payments of hush money payments and possibly some inquiry into the National Enquirer and how that played into pre-election activities that Cohen took place in. We don't know the tie, if there is one, to the Mueller investigation. It's being reported now that the attorney, the U.S. attorney in the Southern District, recused himself. And that's the Trump guy. So here you have another recusal potentially, just like the president has a problem with Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General's recusal. I think that we have a long way to go to get more facts about this particular raid, but clearly the signals from Capitol Hill are don't fire Mueller. It would cause a lot of problems.
Meantime, there's also the story that everybody's following in regards to reaction to Syria and what might happen there. The president meeting with his military leadership yesterday, Nikki Haley at the United Nations, pushing back against the use of chemical weapons against those innocent civilians. Do you hear anything more about what could possibly happen from our end today?
Well, I think that from that cabinet room where a lot of the focus was on the raids and his comments on Mueller, the other thing that came out of it was that there will be a decision in hours, possibly within the day, and that they are confident or have solid intelligence about who was behind that. That's from President Trump. Since then, I've talked to various officials who feel like there is an increasing confidence that they know who was behind the chemical attacks, and there are indications that there's some military move potentially in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Can I ask you just on that, on the evidence that and what we might be able to find out about it? I'm cautious because I know things are classified. But people are going to want some proof that it was the Assad forces that did this. Is that what you're hearing, that there is that proof exists?
I've been invited to a couple of background briefings in the next day, so I think that they're probably getting it all together, and you know the drill. They brief anchors and reporters with what they can outside of a classified environment in order to make the case firmly before some action happens.
Well, it's good to know that you are invited, because we will invite you then back here to tell us more about it. All right, Bret Baier, thank you.
Thanks.